You are listening to Rouge Radio, a proud member of the Canadian Football Podcast Network.
It's time to get the point as Rouge Radio is ready to kick off.
Ready!
The best football talk with the best in the business.
So what is the cost? You have 2 first-round picks this year because the Argos are dumb enough to trade for Drew Willie.
A few rookies.
We go directly to the on-field product. We welcome to the show the 20th overall pick in this past Sunday's CFL draft, DeAndre Wright of the Alouettes. DeAndre, welcome to the show.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for having me.
And the occasional Hall of Famer.
Please welcome Doug Brown, who is one of the members of the current class of 2016 in the CFL Hall of Fame. Doug, thanks for joining us today.
Oh, thank you guys for the kind words and for having me on the program.
Rouge Radio is on the air. Here's your hosts, Robert Dalton and Tony Allen.
Welcome back, everybody, to another edition of the Rouge Radio podcast. It's been so long since we've been on the air. I had some personal affairs to attend to, or I could just be like, I completely forgot. I could just be honest with you. It's powered by the Canadian Football Podcast Network. If you're watching this on YouTube, you know that the person above me is not Tony. I mean, there might be some people that might prefer it this way. I mean, I'm not going to complain, but it's Andrew Hoskins from the Turf District podcast. Andrew, I know this is like the second time that I've asked you to come on the pod in the last 4 hours. Little bit of an inside comment. I'd asked. I found out that it was that Tony. There was a potential that Tony was not going to come on the pod. So I asked Andrew. He graciously said, "Yep, I got no life. I can come on the pod and whatnot." No, that's not. I'm paraphrasing. That didn't happen. Then Tony said, "Yeah, no, I got the go ahead. I can go on the pod." And then like a half hour ago, it's like, "No, I can't go." And then Andrew's like, "I still have no life, and I could just jump on the pod." Okay, so I feel like I've just insulted our guest host twice.
Yes,
and
I mean,
I'm surprised.
The best part is I was happy to come. Wait, what? This just took a turn.
Yeah, yeah. It's like I'm surprised I haven't met your good friend DT. You know, Dial Tone.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I was like, I don't really know DT that well, but okay. I mean, I think you'd know him better than I would, but okay, sure.
There we go.
Yeah, exactly.
Obviously, you know. Well, first off, before we get into the podcast, because I didn't have that much time to send the itinerary. So, how's life? How's the pod?
Pod is good. I mean, we would like to start using the cheering for the game recap at some point, but the pod is going well. Really, I mean, it's always fun to hang out with Kayla and Mike and just chat some football. And this year we've added Linda in doing some beer selections for us, and she is hilarious. And so it really makes it more fun, right? It's just hanging out with your friends, talking about football, and you know, better days are ahead where we'll get to be excited about the game recap.
We hope so. Like as much as you know, I've always said this on previous podcasts. I think Montreal should be on the lower level because of their dominance in the 2000s and parts, you know, early parts of the 2010s. I thought Montreal should be at the bottom tier of the East for a little bit longer. But I think Edmonton, this is kind of like they fulfilled that bottom of the barrel of the West. So I'm like, okay, time's ticking, guys. Let's get on that. But I'm glad that you brought this up, because life it appears to be where it's kind of like a like social media. If you're on it, if you're not, then you're missing out. But it almost seems like it's kind of like the fandom in Edmonton is a parody of itself, almost. And it's kind of, and I don't mean that to sound like an insult. It's kind of like a lot of apathy. Where it's, you know, it's like they go just because they're avid Elks fans, but at the same time, it's like when they lose, it's like lowest hanging fruit of comedy is where where they go. So first off, you obviously cover the Elks as part of the Turf District podcast. You've got your ear to the ground, I guess, in Edmonton. What is life truly like in Edmonton as an Elks fan?
It's a tough go. I think part of the problem, and I keep trying to remind myself of this even before I do a show every week, is just, the last probably 5 years have been very, very difficult. We obviously 2019 there was high expectations. Team fell drastically short. We had missed the season in 2020, and then there was the name change, which still seems to be a problem, which I don't understand and frustrates me to no end. We had the shortened season in 21 where they, again, brought in new head coach. We think this is all going to be great. Jamie Elizondo doesn't do well. Not a great season. So, okay, well, Chris Jones to the rescue, or not. And because it's been that long, you have to remind yourself that this is a brand new setup. It's a new president. It's a new GM. It's a new head coach. It's a brand new defensive coordinator. There's a lot of new on here where they need to learn how to coach together and how to coach kind of in general, what the positions they are that they're working at. And it's so hard to separate the past 6 years of suck comparing to now, right? And so you get impatient, and I think that's where a lot of Elks fans are right now, is that they're just that we're just impatient. We just want to see a win. Like you can only go so long with going to the games, and you only get to see 1 or 2 wins a season. You kind of want to see more from it.
Mm-hmm.
And this year going in, there was really high expectations on this defense to kind of hold it together for the offense while they kind of came around, and that really didn't pan out. And now we see the defense last week starting to take a couple of steps in the right direction, and the offense, I don't understand. They've decided that, well, we don't need to run the ball anymore, and shockingly, that hasn't gone well. So I don't know. I think there's that level of frustration where we just want to see it, but you have to just keep reminding yourself that you're only 6 games in with this particular group, and they need to be given the chance, much like they gave, Mike O'Shea, right?
Yeah.
And now, would you be like, oh, okay, well, he's got to go right now? Like, well, I granted some fans are, but that's just because we're all impatient. But I think that you get to a point where you're like, okay, I got to let him get there, right? Let them work on it.
So I gotta ask, do you think the situation is worse than what a lot of fan bases are making it out to be? And the reason I ask that is because I didn't know this. Man, I've just like my ear to the ground, I guess, in Alberta isn't as what it used to be. But I scrolling social media, specifically TikTok, there's a heck of a lot of Edmonton Elks fan podcasts out there. There's the Turf District. There's the Elks Herd. There's Eddie Steele's. I think it's
Elks Nation.
Yeah. And then of course there's EST. Right.
Yeah.
Sports. Like, granted, they're saying they're not saying anything that's not true, but when you have so many voices, so many media type voices that are saying the same thing, it almost kind of makes it worse than what it is, but they're still saying the same thing that has a valid point. So I guess the question is everything like worse than what it is?
Well, I don't know so much that it's worse than what it is, as much as it's just everybody sees the same things now because we keep seeing it.
Yeah.
We're like, okay, that as much as things change, as much they stay the same, right? So, you're seeing some other. I think with the new ownership, you're starting to see. I mean, Elks Call was around. Obviously, we've been around for through a few regime changes.
Yeah.
And EST and we've kind of partnered with them, but they're on the ground because they have like one of their guys is doing the sideline stuff.
Yeah.
So it kind of makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Elks Nation is brand new this year. There's been Oilers Nation here for a very long time, and I think they're just trying to build off of that, right? To try and encompass Edmonton sports in general. So I don't know so much if I think some of the clips that go on there, and a lot of the clips, especially on TikTok, what you're seeing is the parts that where we're frustrated. And we always, when we're on our show, we try to balance it with, okay, this is frustrating, but this is actually pretty good. And you know what? It's a new week. We're fans, and our job as fans is to show up the next week and to cheer them on. And sooner or later, it'll pay off. And when it does, it's going to be all the sweeter because we've been there through all of the crap. And I think that's kind of why it gets tilted one way or the other.
Yeah, I can tell you. I mean, also social media, the bad parts of social media too, right? I mean, I can't imagine. As a Bomber fan, I don't think I could relive the Mike Kelly year in Winnipeg with social media being as it is right now. I mean, it was bad enough the latter years of the Joe Mack era, but I don't think I could have dealt with Mike Kelly through social media. I think it's just some things are just better off not talked about.
Well, and I couldn't imagine having social media when we had Kay Stevenson as a head coach, and I've lived through having to go through a name change, and let me tell you, it still doesn't go away. Which I know that you guys have talked about it on the show, and I 100% agree with you. I just want to get back to talking about football. Let's just keep it as it is. Let's move on and let's talk about football. And but social media, because they are losing, that's not going away until they start winning.
It's the go-to, right? Yeah, I mean, they always say winning solves everything. I mean, you're looking at Saskatchewan right now, right? For years they've been they made subtle improvements last year, but now attendance is starting to increase. Right now you're getting winning solves a lot of things. They were now 1,000. I think less than 1,000 people tickets sold for the Labor Day game. That's going to be holy crap! It's going to be like a month. I can't believe. Like it seems
it's crazy, right?
Yeah, it seems like that's the season just started, but it also seems like the season has it's like 2 months in, which I guess it has.
It's 2 months in, and you're thinking, okay. Now, let me tell you, as an Elks fan, it's like, we're only 2 months in. But there's also a part of you that's like, hey, we're only 2 months in, so we have 4 months to make it better.
Yeah, exactly.
let's hope for that. Yeah.
Like I keep on having to do my go through the calendar when they're talking about that, and the reason being is because Winnipeg has had like 2 buys so far. So I have to remind myself that their record isn't indicative of where we are in the season right now, the amount of games that they played. So I just had to double check to see where they were, and I still can't figure out if it's week 9 or week 8, because sometimes the calendar likes to play some tricks on me. It is week 9. It is week 9. Yeah, I just had to double check that. Let's go to I guess the CFPN. We'll let you dive off on the Elks and their satire there, their live satire. You can talk about them on your podcast because you guys do a great job. But
thank you.
But we'll go talking about stuff. Speaking of good jobs, I'll give myself a pat on the back here. Canadian Football Podcast Network has their own fantasy league, and we haven't talked about this in a while, which I don't know why, because I've been kicking ass in that league. Suddenly, I went on like a 5-game winning streak, and I was at 6-2, and then I decided to. Oh man, I can't even remember who I dressed last week. It wasn't good. I lost. I lost to Greg from the Piffles podcast. I lost by a good 25 points. And I think I kind of lucked out on that's how bad the week was. I lucked out on getting to that point, to like 65 points or something like that. But it was just absolutely ridiculous. My next game is against the Argo Fancast. You're a part of this league, aren't you?
I sure am, yes. And I unlike you, I have been crapping the bed constantly in this particular league this year. The past few years have been good to me, and I'm usually really good to get to the semis. and then blow it, or get to the final and blow it. And I believe this time around I'm sitting at a whopping 3-5, which has not been great. Last week I think I scored 84 points and lost. So I mean, it's not been pleasant in the turf district. Granted, I have I will admit that I have kind of drank the Kool-Aid on my own team a few weeks, and that has burned me. So, I got to be a little aware of that a little more. So I'm trying to be a little more optimistic, or I mean, you can call it what you want. I also decided that maybe I should just do the opposite of Ryan Ballantyne, and I'll just pick all of the players on the team that is playing against my team, and then maybe I'll have a little more success. We'll see if that shtick works at all.
Or what you can do, I shouldn't have any kind of strategy behind it, but does it really kill you if you decide to be like, hey, I'm a hardcore Elks fan, I can't pick Damien Alford even though he's cheap. I can't pick Calgary defense even though they're cheap. I can't pick Clark Barnes or whoever the next available receiver in Calgary because they're cheap, because I've got principles as an Elks fan. I can't eventually.
Well, at least this week there's no point in picking them. That's the important part. Yeah.
If I didn't mention before, our podcast is sponsored by the good people over at Manscaped. Go to manscaped.com, enter the promo code Rouge, and you get 20% off your order, including free worldwide shipping. Go to Manscaped. Your balls will thank you. And I feel cringy saying that tagline with a new guest host on the leg. It's like,
that's okay.
Yeah,
I listened to the show. I knew it was coming. It's fine. Yeah.
Well, it's funny because when you were texting earlier today, I was like, you were like, hey, should we talk about the Elks and how bad they are? And I was like, you know what? I have a special sound effect on a sound effect board. If I could make you sound like a witness protection program, you'll be like, see if I get that.
I've been a fan of the Elks for 10 years, and you don't like them at all.
Wow, that's amazing. What's really amazing to me is that voice sounds like one of the voices that my son plays with online, and
it's not me.
I don't even know who that person is, but I just call him Wit Pro. So I say that to Riley all the time. I'm like, hey, you playing with Wit Pro or what's going on? Yeah.
Okay. Well, before we preview Week 9, let's get to the actual booth announcer.
Rouge Radio is partnered with the good people over at Sports Interaction. Go to SIA.com/Rouge. Your first deposit will be matched up to 100%. And as always, please play and gamble responsibly. Gentlemen?
We still haven't had a name for that booth announcer.
Interesting.
For that random...
Sounds like an Irv to me. Sounds...
Irv. So I feel before we go on, I posted this on TikTok, but someone brought it to our attention, and the reason being, and I want to get you to see if you can actually know this, because I imagine people like Superfan Mike would know this. Any Given Sunday movie came out in 1999.
Okay.
There were 4 CFL players that were in that movie.
Oh man, yeah, Mike would know it.
Yeah.
I will not, but I'm sure that Mike would know it.
We talk, I'll give you a hint, because last week a couple of weeks ago, our last show, we talked about it. So there's Robert Gordon, who was an extra in that movie. I don't know if he's in the Hall of Fame yet, but very good receiver. He's had a couple of 1,000-yard receivers, most notably with the Bombers in 2000. Was with the Ottawa Rough Riders, yes, those Rough Riders, and of the BC Lions and the Toronto Argonauts. The second was Henry Burris. Henry Burris was Jamie Foxx's spiral double. So when Jamie Foxx dropped back to throw, and you saw that spiral, that was Henry Burris that threw those balls.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah. Well, which is funny, because Jamie Foxx I think his real name is Eric Bishop, which is first cousins of former CFL quarterback Michael Bishop. Can you imagine how bad you must be where your own cousin has to go to the CFL to get Henry Burris to throw for you instead of his own cousin? Like, he wasn't pro at this point. I think he was just finished college around this time. So, yeah, I mean,
Well, Michael Bishop could have done it. The problem is that it probably would have taken out the camera because he would have thrown it 120 miles an hour straight at it instead of just the nice looping.
Oh yeah, he threw a lot of air under those balls. A lot of air under those balls. Third one, former Elks player Warren Moon.
Oh, well, that
makes sense.
Yeah.
He played himself. I can't remember what scene, but I do remember. Fourth one, and longtime Stampeder fans might know this, Rick Johnson. CFL quarterback from 1986. He was the Dallas quarterback in that movie. Rick Johnson led the league in yardage in 1986. I know Rick Johnson because I didn't start watching the CFL until the year after that happened. I know Rick Johnson from my trade trees. Rick Johnson was one of 6 players traded from the Toronto Argonauts to the BC Lions for one Matt Dunnigan. Not a lot of people know that.
That's cool.
By the way, I miss Matt Dunnigan on the CFL panel.
I miss Matt Dunnigan too. I do like. I did like just the. I know lots of people say that accent drives him crazy or whatever, or some of his sayings and stuff, but I actually loved him as a color guy.
Oh God, yeah.
It was so funny. Like, it was just like, okay, that's just Matt being Matt. So I could get behind that.
Oh yeah, definitely. All right, let's go to week 9, shall we? This opens up tomorrow. We are recording this on July 3rd. I'm just going to have to check my calendar. Is it July 30th right now? Yes,
it is.
Yeah,
it is.
So the week 9 starts tomorrow. The Calgary Stampeders are in Ottawa to face the Red Blacks, and some big news coming out of Cowtown. Vernon Adams Jr. will not be starting. P.J. Walker will be making his first CFL start as a member of the Calgary Stampeders. Ottawa is favored by 3.5 points. The over-under is set at 49.5. Does P.J. Walker make you want to pick the Red Blacks in this one?
100% he does. And I just watching what I could when he came in last week, it was rough. And he doesn't have that. You can even see, like, he just doesn't have the same command of the huddle. Now, he's had a full week of practice. Does that make it better? Probably a little, but I don't know that he has the same. He's far from having the same vision of the field that Vernon Adams has had because he's been around for so long.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think he probably does have some of the athletic ability, but I don't know if he knows how to use it in the CFL because it is so different than what he's used to. So for me, it kind of nice that it happens when Ottawa's at home because those fans are more likely to walk away with an exciting time. I definitely will be picking Ottawa on this one.
I'm with you on that one. It's just that Ottawa just seems to be like Ottawa of old, right? Like, there's so much potential with this team, and they just can't. Like, it's like, I want to call them like the Edmonton East, just because, like, there's so much talent, and you just, like, you know what's wrong with this team, and when they decide to figure it out, there's some coaching decision that just backfires. And I know that they say hindsight's 20/20. But there are some decisions that Bobby Dice is making that's kind of like what you've been in the CFL for like 25 years alone and a head coach for 5 years. Like, these are things that you should not be doing at all.
Fair.
In this case, sometimes you just got to go with the home team, and the law of averages indicate that Ottawa is not going to be like a 3-15 team. They're going to pick up 1 or 2 more wins, and eventually they're going to have to figure things out. but they're going to have to figure things out quickly because Hamilton and Montreal, well, more Hamilton than anything, is figuring things out. But I do have Ottawa winning this one very close. Take the under in this one. I can't imagine offense is going to be, it's going to be a dime a dozen here.
I agree. Calgary defense is still good.
Yeah,
so
it's going to be interesting to see how Calgary's defense operates with them being on the field a little bit more than what they're used to. I think that's going to be the difference in this game, where maybe Ottawa just kind of slips away in the latter stages of that game. Probably the win. You know what? I'll say Ottawa covers the spread, but definitely take the under in this one. 22-17 would be my best guess. Rematch of the
I just wanted to throw one thing in that's interesting as you said that. As soon as they announced that VA wasn't playing, it was an 8.5 point swing the other way in the line.
Yeah.
It went from 4.5 for Calgary, and then I went the other way. Oh, I think you said 3.5. Is that right?
It's 3.5. Yeah, right now. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a major swing just based on one guy, right? So
and it's a key guy.
Yeah. It is. It's 100% a key guy, and this is more what we were saying at the beginning of the season is that Calgary. They could play well. They have some talented people, but when their depth gets challenged, it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Well, that's another thing too, right? That their receivers are just dropping like flies right now.
Absolutely.
The rematch of the rematch. The Argonauts are in Winnipeg to play the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Big news today: Zach Collaros will not be playing. So it's like it's the second coming of the Strevolution. Big fan of this guy was Steve Safanek of the Piffles podcast. Steve, if you're watching this, sorry.
Not sorry. I'm glad. It's still funny to me. It's great. Yeah.
I was kind of hoping that someone would, when Coldplay, the whole Coldplay CEO thing came out, I was kind of hoping that someone would come out with a Steve and Strevler.
It's got to happen, Greg.
I mean, the news is kind of old right now. You're just kind of like putting that out there at this point just to make fun of the guy, but whatever. Here's just something that's strange. Winnipeg is favored by 3.5 right now. The over-under is set at 50.5. This has got to say more about Toronto than it does about Winnipeg. Like Winnipeg at home, they've been very good at home despite the last game against Calgary. I don't know. The Strevler gives Winnipeg a different dimension. Like Edmonton, they somehow have success on the run, and they don't run the ball as much as they should. Like Oliveira had like a 7.2 average per carry, and they decided to go through the air for some reason.
Tell me about it. My fantasy remembers that whole part. Yeah, that's fantastic.
I can't imagine. And the one thing that'll make me pick Winnipeg, which I don't want to do because I hate betting on the team, but these back-to-back games always favor the team that loses the first game. Like I don't have a stat on here to indicate it to back me up, but it always seems the team, unless they are clear better than the other, the team that loses the first week ends up coming back and winning the second game. I don't know if like possibly Toronto covers and Winnipeg still wins, possibly by a last-second field goal in this one. Again, Streveler is going to probably keep it on the ground. Not so many interceptions, and if there is, probably going to be in the red zone. So it's not going to cost Winnipeg that many points, but it's going to cost them field position. But I do have Winnipeg in winning this one. Toronto covering the spread. Take the under in this one. I'll go 23-22. Where do you got this one here, Andrew?
Ooh, wow. Okay. Well, this one, I got to watch a good chunk of that game last week, and usually I would agree. I would say that it's really hard to win the back-to-back games. But the last few years, we've seen it happen more where they have won both games, and I just see Toronto starting to put a few things together. They're still not great. Don't get me wrong. They're not. I mean, we know when that other quarterback comes back. Unfortunately, they'll be better. But we do know that, they're taking their time, and Arbuckle is now usually he's good week, bad week, good week, bad week. But I just feel like there's starting to be a bit more connection. You look at Arbuckle and Coxie and what they were doing last week. And that Bombers secondary is still struggling a little bit. So when you don't have, I don't think anyway, the same kind of offensive firepower with Strevler there as compared to having Collaros, I think, yes, I think it'll still be a close game, but I feel like Toronto is going to pull this one out. I'm going to go just the opposite way and say it'll be 22-21 for the Argos.
Oh, so similar score, but the opposite. Okay, well, guaranteed to take the under in this one. Now,
correct.
Watch Strevler throw for 4 touchdowns again.
If he throws for 4 touchdowns, like, does the world just implode at that moment because everything has gone backwards? Like, what is going on? If he ran for 4 touchdowns,
I think we believe that, right? Like, quarterback sneak, they get close enough and like, hey, we're 5 yards away, try a sneak. Okay, whatever.
Pass interference in the end zone. He leans in like that, I could believe, but throws for 4? Wow. Okay. That's a big call.
Doubleheader on Saturday. The Hamilton Tiger Cats are in Edmonton to play the Elks. Obviously, you will definitely be there.
Yes.
I'm surprised at this line here. Hamilton's favored by 3.5. Over/under is at 54.5. I'm thinking the big thing here is to seeing how Hamilton hasn't really gotten to the quarterback as much as they should, but neither has Edmonton gotten to the quarterback on their side. I think the key here is, can Edmonton keep their quarterback? It looks like it's Cody Fajardo who's making a second straight start. He looked okay. He looked good against Saskatchewan. Saskatchewan's a different beast as far as what they do defensively in the secondary. Hamilton, similar secondary, just a different top front seven where they don't rush to the quarterback, more play contain. So I think this might be Cody's breaking out point in this one. I'm going to say Edmonton comes out with a win, but I'm going to hold a little asterisk here. If they don't run the ball, this game will be over early. Vince Carter All-Star game, it's over. It's over.
5 minutes into the game.
Yeah. The moment Jordan Maximic does not commit to the run in that first quarter, if Javon Leake or Justin Rankin does not have 20, 25 yards rushing in that first quarter, you might as well say goodnight and then look on to the next week because that game is over. If they do, and I should think that they do commit to the run, I think this is a game that Edmonton does win. I don't know if this is a turning point, but I think Edmonton is a lot closer to where they want to be. And Hamilton, still iffy on Hamilton, to be honest with you. But I think Hamilton's right for the picking on this one. Edmonton wins this one. Definitely covering the spread. I'll go 32-25. You got this one. I'm assuming that you were kind of shocked that I said that Edmonton wins. So maybe you have a similar score, but Hamilton winning?
Yeah, I do have the over.
Okay.
I do have the over on this one. I do think, both secondaries are still trying to figure out where to be. Like they're not horrible, but they're not great. Mm-hmm. And Edmonton gets burned in the air a fair amount, and then they try to play off, and then they get burned underneath.
Yeah.
And this last game against Saskatchewan, like I said, we saw them take that step. It was the first game this year that they hadn't given up 30 points. And to a team like Saskatchewan and a quarterback like Trevor Harris and how he's playing so far this year, that's a step in the right direction. I'm very curious to see how this play calling will go with Cody. It's really hard to, when you look the week before that you gave up 8 sacks. Cody took responsibility for 4 of them. and good
I
on
don't
him
know
for
how.
doing that.
I don't know how. Like,
Well,
eventually, you just got to look at the film and say, "The frick were you doing?" like.
well, I mean, there's partly that, but there's also like we just talked about it. If the last 2 games, our running backs have touched the ball 5 times in each game, like combined, and so what is Saskatchewan going to do? Like, they just pin their ears back and go. Like, there's no, like, why they didn't have to worry about any type of run game. They there was, the short game wasn't there. It was just like, it made no sense. Cody made things happen because he's played enough to know kind of where to go and make something happen. But he also held onto the ball for too long. So I don't know if they're able to change that this quickly. I just see, Hamilton's coming in on a 5-game win streak. They have found ways to win, especially late in games. And I just don't know that Edmonton's there. I want to be what you're saying. I really, really want to say that. I've just been burned so many times. So I'm just going to pick Hamilton to take this one. I had a score more along the lines of 34-19. But if they can, if the defense can continue to step up, maybe this is a lot closer than I'm giving it credit for.
Kenny Lawler, 5-touchdown game.
Yeah, well, that's the other thing. Yeah, well, he'll be in my lineup because I'm picking all Hamilton Tiger Cats this week. So that's
the anti-Valentine strategy.
That's right. This way I'm happy either way, right?
Yeah,
Either we won and I suck at fantasy, or we didn't and I did well. So great, works out for me.
Last game of the week: the Saskatchewan Roughriders against the Montreal Alouettes in Montreal. Saskatchewan favored by 2.5. Over/under is at 49.5. I'm surprised Saskatchewan's not favored by a lot more, considering that the McLeod Bethel Thompson is not good.
Well, he's great in between the 20s.
Well, I mean, that's what
yeah.
Trevor Harris was. Like, and then to a certain extent, so he still is.
This is a field goal fest going on in this game.
Oh man, then maybe Saskatchewan loses.
Oh, that'd be great. Yeah, I don't know. I think both you and I are excited about that, but still.
Oh, well, I mean, I at this point, it's kind of like, okay, as a Bomber fan, you kind of just want to wish that Winnipeg starts winning, right? Then the rest of the schedule just starts taking care of itself. But you're looking at what Saskatchewan has been able to do. Not like credit for their record. I would think that they would probably had total control out of maybe 2 of those wins that they had. The rest, those are games that could have gone either way. And it's I'm still waiting for that other shoe to drop in Saskatchewan. On this game, the more that you just mentioned the field goal fest, and it was like little light bulb. And I think I've got the light. It actually looks like
right there.
Yeah, there it is. It actually makes it look like, like this is either Brett Lawther's coming out game where he just returns to form like he always does every year, or this is the game where he just continues to on a downward spiral, making all of Rider Nation pull out their hair. So in that case, man, sometimes streaks are just hard to turn around in that case. So give me Maltos over Lawther at any point during the season at this point. So it might be a Rouge fest. It might be a field goal fest. Give me Saskatchewan's offense a little bit more than Montreal. But if this is going to come down to field goals, Montreal's got it. So I'll take Montreal 25-18 over the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Normally do not like to take McLeod Bethel Thompson and the teams in these pick'em, but there's just something. It's the more that we talked about the field goals and the lack of touchdowns. You just kind of talked me into this game coming down to field goals. So I feel that this is right down. This is the wheelhouse of Montreal as opposed to Saskatchewan. Where do you got this one going?
All right. Well, I wasn't sure which way you were going to go there. Go.
I know.
Like,
I'm like ADHD. I've got like one lane to go, and then
you took me on a roller coaster ride, and it was free. I just needed the edge of the seat. It was great.
Somehow start talking about the USFL. Yeah.
Next thing you know, yeah. You know, I guess as you said that, would you say that like Saskatchewan is the worst 5-1 team that you've seen?
Oh my
I
God!
just
Yeah.
couldn't resist. If Tony was here, it'd be great.
Tony just texted me. Nobody's the best 5-1 team.
That's right. That's right. Okay, perfect, excellent. They're the worst 5-1. Okay. I don't know. I found that McLeod Bethel Thompson, he can be very hit and miss, and yet we saw last year in Edmonton. I don't think that he was actually the problem. The offense was ticking along very well, but the defense couldn't stop anybody, and that's why they kept losing games. 3 walk-off field goals in a row. So the Saskatchewan defense,
you're not holding grudges at all, from that.
What's that?
You're not holding any grudges over that as well.
Oh God, no. Totally over it. I'm
gonna take a screenshot of that, and it's gonna be.
There's somebody's gonna create a GIF of that. I just know it. Yeah, it's gonna have. There's already one out there with me going like this. Like it's perfect. I use it for a lot of things. I think just that Saskatchewan defense, though, they are playing quite well, and they're coming off obviously a big game with a lot of sacks. Kind of Edmonton's own doing, but they did get that opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
McLeod can also hold the ball a little bit long, so I think it just goes the other way. It'll be very close. I think Montreal covers to be close in this, but I'm going to give Saskatchewan just the edge here. I'm going to go 19-18, a really close one, coming right down to the end. But I'll unfortunately go with the Heathans of the rectangle.
The Heathans of the rectangle.
I have to find some way, there's lots of, if Greg or Steve is listening, if they're not already upset about the Coldplay thing now I'm going to hear about it for sure. Yeah.
The Heathens of, well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to end on that one. Wait, hold on. Here, no. Oh, wait, no, yeah. Heathens of the rectangle. There we go.
There we go.
That's
perfect.
Non-stop. There. Rouge Radio is broadcasted in front of a live studio audience, apparently.
Sit, Ubu, sit. Yeah, that's great. Yeah.
Awesome!
Soundboard is outstanding.
I got this for Christmas last year, and I'm really surprised I haven't really played with it as much as I wanted to.
Just needed me to be on here to promote music.
Yeah, I guess. All right, someone's just coming in and shooting. All right, well that'll do it with this week's podcast, powered by the Canadian Football Podcast Network. You can find us on YouTube and of course all the podcast applications. If it's out there, we're on it. I don't really know which podcast applications you use, but I hear iTunes and Apple are the most popular ones that we do. Andrew, for those that don't, and I find it very hard to believe that we have listeners that don't listen to the Turf District, but in case that there is, where can Rouge listeners find the Turf District?
Yeah. Well, first, let me say again, thanks for having me on. I love coming on to chat football with both of you guys. Lots of times you, but I love chatting with both of you guys. I just want to mention this because we didn't talk about it at the beginning, and it deserves to be mentioned on every podcast. That interception by Robert Carter, that is one of the best catches I have ever seen, much less interception. And so I just want to mention it because holy crap, was that unbelievable. I just loved it.
It's funny you mentioned that, because I was the online chatter. It's like, oh, it's got to be the best individual play in all of CFL, and I'm like thinking, no, there's got to be, and I legitimately spent like Googling like top 10 plays of each year, found some very phenomenal plays. Like if you're talking individual plays, like there's the Janarian Grant's 60-yard punt return touchdown against the Riders 3 years ago, where he ran out the entire special teams unit 3 times. That was awesome. But if you're talking just one specific moment, individual play, I don't think you can come up with anything that was better than that.
There's very little. Maybe the SJ Green catch in the massive back and forth, the overtime catch, the one-hander in the back of the end zone.
That Dave Stadnick will insist that was out of bounds. Yeah,
that one. Yeah. Or maybe the Chad Owens, the one-hander one. I mean, maybe, but
Brian Burnham had a couple of highlight reel ones. Like there was
highlight reels, but that guy looked like he defied gravity. It was crazy how far he was up in the air, and that was dropping right into Keandre Smith's hands.
Yeah,
and out of what a beautiful catch!
And this guy did the same thing in college. So this isn't like a one-time thing. This is something that this guy can actually, like, I think he practices it. Like I think,
it was nuts, and it just it's kind of nice for me that I'm watching other games and I'm getting that excitement out of it. Like I was like, whoa, that was so cool to watch.
The complete opposite of hot garbage.
Correct. Yeah. Actual professionals in this league. Yeah. All right. Well, as far as Turf District is concerned, we record live on YouTube on Tuesday nights. And then, of course, you can find us on all of the different podcatchers and social channels. It's usually at the Turf District. If you search that up, I'd love for you to join us live. We take comments and questions live. And so, yeah, throw a little subscribe on there and throw a like on there. We'd love to have you aboard.
Definitely. Looking forward to week 9, and it's still not halfway through the 2025 season. For Andrew, I'm Dalts, and of course Tony, who is on his way somewhere. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week.
Thanks for listening. Find more great shows like this at CF Pod Network on Twitter.